In March 1942, the Dutch warship HNLMS Abraham Crijnssen was trapped. The Japanese Navy had completely surrounded the Dutch East Indies. Every single Allied ship in the area had been sunk or captured. The crew of the Crijnssen had two choices: surrender and face a brutal prisoner-of-war camp, or attempt a suicidal escape through 1,000 miles of enemy-controlled waters. They chose a third option. They decided to turn their 180-foot steel warship into a floating island. The Abraham Crijnssen was a minesweeper. It was slow, heavily outgunned, and had zero chance in a sea battle. To survive, the captain, Anthony Van Meert, came up with a crazy, borderline insane idea. If the Japanese are looking for a ship, we won't give them one. The crew anchored the ship near a deserted island. Armed with axes and machetes, all 45 crew members went ashore. They cut down hundreds of trees, massive tropical branches, and dense foliage. They hauled the jungle back to the ship and literally tied it to the deck, the bridge, and the hull. When they were done, the warship looked exactly like a small, random volcanic island. But the camouflage was only half the battle. They couldn't just sail away. A moving island tends to attract attention. So they developed a nerve-wracking strategy. By day, they anchored completely still, dangerously close to the shore of real islands, blending into the coastline. The crew stood frozen on deck under the scorching sun, listening to Japanese bomber planes flying directly overhead. By night, when darkness fell, they pulled up anchor and steamed ahead as fast as their engines could take them. Every morning was a race against time. If the sun rose before they found a new island to hide against, they were dead. For 8 agonizing days, the crew lived in a state of constant terror. The paint on the ship was melting from the heat, the tropical vegetation was dying and had to be constantly replaced with fresh branches, and their supplies were running dangerously low. Japanese destroyers passed so close that the Dutch sailors could hear the Japanese crews talking. Yet, nobody noticed that one specific island was in a slightly different position every single day. On March 20, 1942, a strange, rotting pile of jungle vegetation drifted into the harbor of Fremantle, Australia. The local authorities couldn't believe their eyes. The Abraham Crijnssen had done the impossible. It was the only ship of its fleet to escape the disaster of Java. They didn't win the war with firepower. They won it with pure engineering brilliance, unmatched camouflage, and nerves of absolute steel. Next time you think a problem is impossible, just remember the crew that sailed an entire island to freedom.